Welcome back to Uber Blog. When you start driving Uber, you get excited because you can make money and you have freedom to drive whenever you want. You could drive, at any time, on any day. At one time, early on with Uber driving, I used to, drive many hours. There are times that on Sunday, because Sunday is a really good day to drive, that I would drive throughout the whole day because I was trying to chase after bonuses. I was always chasing after the bonus, driving many hours and not returning home and just resting in the car because I had to drive far to the area where I knew that there was going to be business, so I wouldn't have challenges. Even if I was in the city and I got sent out to some, cow pasture in the middle of nowhere, knowing that it was going to impact my time because I would do my ride averages and I would know how many rides I needed. I would know that I still could get back to the area I needed to be. So you could always drive, as much as you wanted to. But then when they started changing things, they installed a feature that you can only drive 12 hours. And it didn't matter, you drive 12 hours and then you made a mistake. So say you drove 12 hours and then you got taken offline for 6 hours. Or maybe you drove 5 hours, but you wanted the clock to reset. So you gave it time to reset for 6 hours. But if you made a mistake and you went back into the app and you accidentally hit online on accident and you only had 2 minutes left until the clock resets, so you would have that extra time to go after your rides, then all of a sudden, boom, now you can't get back online and now your whole night's done and now you're not going to get your bonus. So there were so many flaws when they implemented that new feature, the feature that they say that they're trying to keep you safe, keep the riders safe, and that you could get your rest. But you know what? I was missing all my bonuses. After they installed that new feature, I barely got my bonuses after that. And I think that is part of the reason why I wouldn't drive as much. Why I would end up, reducing my hours. And then I was having car problems. And then I was having problems with resources to stay on the road. And there was always something wrong. It was almost like when life tells you this is not going to work out. And no matter how hard you try to do it, it doesn't work out. But you did meet people along the way while driving that you still know today. And that they are instrumental in your future. But when you try to do Uber and you get stuck with it and you just do it, but it's almost like your passion is not, there anymore, then you just won't get on the road. I mean, it's supposed to be like a job or you're supposed to be having fun, but when you're ruining cars and people are giving you a tough time about your career choices and riders are giving you, difficult time in the rides because they're drunk or they're on drugs or they just have bad attitudes or personalities. I mean, I don't try to discount the good people, but there are plenty of other people that they say, Uber would say, are the bad apples. The ones that make it incredibly tough to enjoy Uber. Because ride sharing is supposed to be fun. But it could be challenging because you're trying to go for money. And when you're trying to go after these bonuses, you're not always supposed to get them. It's almost like we'll give you some bonuses, but you're going to miss them. We'll make sure that you miss them. But if you're trying to get them all the time, you need to manage your time and get out there early. Right when it starts, right when the bonus starts, get out there. You do it early, you go in a busy area, you're done. You get it. You earned it, you feel good about it, you made your money, and now you could manage the rest of your week if you try to chase after another bonus. I say if you chase after anything, it's going to be hard. Even in dating or in dreams or just in life, you chase after things, you may not always get what you want. So don't always go chasing, just say be strategic. So there's a lot of things I did where I developed a system and I knew that it would work. It wouldn't always work, but sometimes I might wait to go out there and I needed some rides, or maybe I'm tired and I'm like, okay, I'll go back out later. And I come back at 8 o'clock and I'll say, I'll give myself 8 hours to get 12 rides or something, and then I don't get it. because they start giving me all these long rides. I don't get rides for like 90 minutes. There was like all this like manipulation going on. You're like sitting in Berkeley for 90 minutes and you don't get a ride request, or you're in San Francisco for 2 hours and you don't get a ride request, and you're driving around from Palo Alto all the way to San Francisco on a busy night and you get no ride request, and you know all you need is like 1 or 2 rides. I mean, come on. There's more to it. I think it was just all those things. Trying to get the bonuses, trying to make riders happy, and then some riders will give you bad scores, and you know your score drops when you look in the app. You know, like, oh, it's like 4.95, now it's 4.94, 93, now, you know, it drops. I remember one time my score had dropped all the way to a 4.80 because I had driven this one crazy group, and they were one girl got totally nude and was dancing around in the car, and she was like loaded on cocaine, and then they told me I needed to drive these girls again, and they had 2 rides open. They hadn't raped me yet, and I was just thinking like, oh no, this is just such a disaster. I need to get out of this situation. It's just that and then they end up giving me these really low scores, and then my scores, my ratings just kept dropping. And I told Uber about that ride. I said I had 2 open rides. I drove those guys, and they, because of all this stuff that happened, and that they told me to leave when they told me to stay, because I didn't want to have drinks and stuff. They said, your night's over, you're going to party with us. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not interested because I have to drive. And they're like, no, you're going to party with us. And I was like, no, I'm not. So they didn't like that. So then they rated me less. And maybe one of the guys told me to go, and he's the one that told me to stay, but he wasn't even the account holder. And then the other one probably was saying, hey, you need to drive these girls home. Where's that guy at? And then he probably gave me low ratings. And when I told Uber about it, they said, well, you know, sometimes people are not so cool and all that, so you're doing a good job. And they just try to encourage you and say you're doing a good job, and don't worry about it and stuff. But at the same time, my score was, you know, dropping weekly after that moment. I remember going all the way down to like a 4.80. I did not like that, because, you know, eventually my highest score was 4.96. Right now I'm at 4.92 because I haven't driven a lot this year. I only drove one day, 7 rides. You just start to reflect back, and then you remember why it's so hard to get out there again, to do something that you used to do every day. But I don't have a reliable car. I don't have a daily car that I could use for Uber, and that makes it more difficult because I had to turn in my lease because it was a 3-year lease, and that car was destroyed when I turned it in. It was in bad shape, and that was a brand new car. Imagine if that was my car, a car that I owned. And they wanted $6,000 for it. And that car had 200,000 miles. I drove it casually on Uber, and I just drove a lot. When I drive in the East Bay, you drive a lot of miles because you're always going to do these long pickups, and the rides are much longer than if you're in the city, or, you know, when I say city, like San Francisco, because riders are closer and they don't go as far, and maybe they go to the airport. They may go out of the city sometimes, go to other cities, but a lot of times they stay within the city. But sometimes the rides are longer because you're going up hills and you're going across the city. Even though it's 7x7, it might take you 30 minutes to get across to the other side and get them to the water. So, but the rides paid more because they had a higher rate, higher per minute and per mile. When you're driving in places like the East Bay, you know, East Bay of like Oakland, Berkeley, and further away, then the rate's going to be cheaper and the pickup time's going to be longer, and you're not going to make as much money. And you're going to lose time. If you're not getting rides, you get 1 ride an hour, or the system's not connecting you, and for some reason, you know, with the algorithms, how they're doing it, and they'll be saying, some drivers know it. I've talked to a lot of other drivers, and they verified it too, that they get down to their bonus, they've been driving all day, and they're about to get kicked offline because they have that feature, that 12-hour feature, and when they get kicked off, they can't get back online to finish their bonus because if they get kicked off around 10 o'clock, then they're done because the bonus ends at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they get kicked off and they need like 2 rides and they only have like an hour left, and they get like a long ride, it's over. Or if they get no ride, then it's over. Or if they get a malfunction in the system where their app doesn't work and they have to reload it and all these problems with their app, like technical issues, then they don't get it. Because they can't keep telling Uber like, oh, I had another technical issue. Because Uber might just give you a free pass. Might say, okay, I'll honor it this time. The next time, we're not going to do it. So it's like you have to manage your time. And that's what I realized over time is that you don't have time now because they use that feature and they manipulate your time. So you can't manage time because you only have a certain amount of time. And if you don't live in the area, maybe you can only work 12 hours. 12 hours and you're done because you're offline for 6 hours. You're not going to wait around for 6 hours to get back online for another 6 hours if you don't live in the area where all the action is. So you got to schedule yourself and be disciplined and know what times to drive and have a plan. You have to have a plan in everything in life. It's like my best friend says, is a dream without a plan is only a wish. And it's probably been mentioned, that saying has been mentioned a lot, that you have to plan. I want to get this bonus. This is how many trips I need. These are the days I'm going to go out, the time I'm going to go out. This is where I'm going to be driving. And if they send me on a long ride and I know that that place doesn't have good rides, then I'm going to shut the app down and go back to the area with the action. So then I don't get taken further out. So I'm not going from San Francisco to Tracy, and now from Tracy to some city out like by past Modesto. Like somewhere where it's not even in, the rides don't even count because you have to be in the Bay Area to give those trips. So it's not your fault that you're getting a ride from San Francisco to Sacramento when you have like 2 hours left and you need 2 more rides. So it's like a lot of those type of tricks that go on. And I think you just get tired. You get tired after a while because you're trying to make money, you're losing money, and then your life is falling down and you're struggling. And it's because of something that's above you that you have no control over, and you're trying to work hard. So if you don't get out there during the times that you should, then towards the end you'll be chasing and you're not going to get it. Because one time I tried to get a bonus, a different type of commute bonus, and one person just canceled the ride while I was driving them, and I was supposed to take them to 7-Eleven across the street, and I was almost at 7-Eleven, and they canceled it. And then the person's like, I didn't do it. And I was like, yeah, I got canceled. So then they didn't count that ride. And then I had to go drive like the next night on a Saturday night. I was doing Uber Eats, and I got connected with one delivery, and then I shut down like where I wasn't accepting anything else. And then I think I used the restroom, and I came back out, and then they connected me with some other food, some other Indian food that I could never deliver, and there wasn't even an address, and it was the wrong address, and the phone wasn't working, and they didn't answer the text messages, and I was looking around for that person, and then I didn't get credit for that particular order, and I needed that because the next day I would try to get this commute bonus, and I had to have a X amount of rides during that time to get it, and I knew exactly what I needed to do, but they kept connecting me with other trips that were conflicting, and every time I try to cancel those, then they would connect me again. So meaning that the deliveries don't count for that particular order. It is only rides. So that when they were giving me, those delivery orders the night before, that took up all my time. So then I didn't get another ride. So I knew that I needed those rides the next day, and I should get them, and they should be easy. And they would set me up. I would just get all these rides, these deliveries, and I would keep turning them down, and there's another delivery and another delivery, and I couldn't even shut it off because now you can shut it off, but I couldn't shut it off. And then I would eventually get all these rides that would lead me to one ride, and I would need 2 more rides, and I would be stuck in traffic, and then I would go to the airport, and then they would connect me with a ride to like Martinez from Oakland Airport. And I needed 2 more rides, and that ride was going to end after the cutoff time, and I wasn't going to get this $100 bonus that I was trying to go for, this like commute bonus. So it's like a lot of those type of tricks that frustrate me, because after I dropped that person off, I actually was able to make up some time, and I had like a good 10 minutes, and I still couldn't get it. I still couldn't get the ride. I wasn't getting connected, and right after it ended at a 2, I think it was like 2 on a Sunday or something, then about 2 minutes later, then I got a ride. But that ride didn't count, and I didn't get the $100. It's like those type of tricks. Like I have so many stories about all the times I missed bonuses by one ride because of things that happen, or you got connected on a ride that could have given you, it would position you to get the next ride, and then that person, right when you get there, they would just cancel at Safeway, and then you knew the ride was short. But if you got that ride, then the last ride would be your bonus. But then now you're getting this ride that's gonna end after your bonus around 4, and then you're not going to get connected with anything. and then you would miss it by one ride, and you were going all week for it. So I feel like that is just all this manipulation with the platform, and just with people messing with their ratings, and you know it just wears you down. And then dealing with their car falling apart, and all the challenges of trying to stay on the road with gas, and the expensive insurance I was paying for that was like $400 a month for ride sharing insurance. It just got to the point where I just got tired. I got tired, and I think that's why in the last 6 months, it's like July right now, I gave him 7 rides. I went out one night. And you just start to really look at it. It's almost like this, like a relationship or a job where you know what, like I'm tired, and I know I could go make money. I could go develop a system. I could go get these get around cars. I could go back to driving people again, but then the excitement of that I used to have for it is dissipated. And the bonuses are not even as exciting as they used to be. They used to offer between like $50 to $500, and now it looks like I've seen these new bonuses, and it's like you have to do like 80 or 90 trips just to get like $80 or something like that. They're unappealing, like $50 or $35. It's like now there's really nothing. They don't really offer much now. You have to follow a certain system to get these bonuses, and they just like really ride you in a way of like controlling your movement, and you could sometimes panic because you need one more ride, and you're gonna lose like $300, and they're sending you out to San Jose, and you're not getting any connections on a Uber pool, and you need one more ride, and then all of a sudden you get it with like a minute left. If you didn't get it, you lose like $350 of money you needed, because otherwise you can't stay on the road. So it's like those little tricks that you have to be open-minded to see them, and you can look at them. You can look at everything and study it and have like screenshots and just know how it all works, and you just realize like, whoa, like I'm getting totally manipulated into missing this stuff. And it's almost like you expect it. You'll be getting down to it, and all of a sudden they want you to do a long pickup, and you just know it's a far trip, and you're like, okay, and then you make a decision, because you're always making decisions to help riders, and you're like, I'm not going to take this one for the first time, and I'm not going to take this one. Then you get your bonus, but if you would have taken that one, you wouldn't have gotten your bonus. So it's like the decisions that you have to make, but sometimes you have to do things to survive. Like think about self-value, self-respect, because you're always trying to do the right thing. You say, right, I'm going to take all rides, and it doesn't matter where it goes. Like one time I tried to get a bonus, and it was going to drop the girl off, and I was going to have plenty of time, but the girl was so drunk, and she didn't want to leave her dad, and she was depressed about her life, and she just had a kid, and she wasn't doing good in her relationship, and she was just so distraught, and she didn't want to get dropped off there, and we couldn't get her out of the car, so then we ended up taking her to his hotel, because she wanted to stay with her dad. And then she was so drunk that we had to carry her all the way into the hotel, and I just lost so much time. So what was supposed to be like a 4-minute ride was like a 90-minute delay, and then eventually I'd be like a few rides short because of it, and I would be in an area where there was no rides. So there's a lot of things that happen along the way that could be manipulation with the system, but also with your riders. And it just really, you could pop a tire, something could break your window, there's so many things, and then you lose money because we wait until the last minute to get out there and try to get something, and then things go wrong because we have to manage our time. And time management has been a problem for me for a very long time, and it's like I lose a lot of money, I live a harder life, and everything is like a mess because of time management. And it's almost like it's a lesson of teaching me, like, if you focus on your time, you wouldn't be in these situations. So then you realize like time management has like really ruined your situation, or it has delayed you. So now it's delaying time because you didn't respect your time, then it delays your time. So now for me, it's like hard to get things now. It's hard to be in position to advance like I used to be. Like before, it was a lot easier to make decisions, and now it's a lot tougher. It's more tough because of driving with Uber so long that, like it is really, it set me back many years. I mean, there's opportunities with it, but there's also, tragedies with it. So you got to be careful. Like the best lesson, the best wisdom I could share with you, like, because I do personal coaching and I also have this vlog on Uber. Respect your time management. Schedule yourself. Don't get stuck in the freedom of like, I could drive whenever I want. I have the flexibility. You don't have the flexibility because they could control the way you do your rides. And they could, and you could lose time. You had to develop a system. Schedule yourself, develop a system, know where you're going to drive, know what days you're going to drive, know how you're going to drive, and go for it. Go for it. Like, I want to get this bonus. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make this money. I'm going to treat it like a job. You will succeed if you do that with Uber. It's not that Uber is trying to hold you back. It's just that maybe they can give out those bonuses to everyone and you have to really earn it. And they're not going to give you a bunch of rides. Like, you need 30 rides and you have 10 hours. They're not going to give you those 30 rides if you need them on a Sunday, because you can only stay online for 12 hours. So you're going to need more than Sunday. Before, you could have done it because you could drive 15 hours and maybe you need 2 rides an hour, but now you got 12 hours that you can only drive. So now 12 hours, 30 rides, 2.5 rides an hour, you're not going to get it if they're sending you on all these long trips all over the place and you're not getting connected with rides. It's almost like it's controlling the way you drive, and it's manipulation. But you could overcome it. And I will talk about how to develop a schedule and how to drive, how to make money, where to drive, the times to drive, how to drive on Uber. So remember, you have value as a driver. You matter. You're a human being. And make sure that you value and respect yourself when you're driving Uber. Peace out.